only podcast that gets noticed by Senpai. I'm Dwee.
I'm Nate, and this is Munkiez. So I think this is actually the first episode with just the two of us.
Yay!
Yeah, how about some firsts lately? We had Ty and me last week, and that was the first time it ever aired because we had an issue with the last one that we did together.
Okay. Tragic.
Yeah. So, what have you been playing this week?
Honestly, work's been really heavy. So I've only been playing a little bit of Warframe with Ty and Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
I logged on to a little bit of Red Dead, but I actually have not checked that online out a lot. I did, however, keep up on a lot of it on Reddit, so see what's going on, see what people are dealing with. So,
Yep. I haven't played a single bit of online.
Okay.
And I talked to Tyler about this last week. I am adamant about finishing the story first.
I am of the same mindset, and I still need to get through a decent chunk of the story, so I need to just settle down and just play it.
Do you know what percentage you're at?
I think 22.
Okay. I'm at 50
Okay.
right now. It's gotten better. A lot of my complaints originally, it's kind of just rolling into our first topic of Red Dead Impressions update. I had a problem with it's a good game, but it's not that fun. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can definitely understand what you're talking about. Like, it feels like you're playing this really cinematic movie, and there's a lot going on, but what's going on isn't always that interesting, and what's going on sometimes involves you sticking around and doing things that, you got to make your own fun. I think that happens a lot of times with games from Rockstar, which is fine. I do wish that the scenes and the characters kind of came to life more.
It gets better.
Okay.
That's what I found, because that was kind of my same complaint, is that the only thing that happens is the random shit that you have to just kind of go seek out.
Right.
Originally. Once the story starts moving along, the characters get more involved. And this, I never actually finished the original Red Dead myself. Okay. So I don't know much about what happens to Dutch, and I know what happens to John because it's been spoiled for me.
Yeah.
But just seeing how certain things are lining up, the story gets better. And follow up on last week, I got past the part that was spoiled for me.
Oh, okay.
So that's good. So it wasn't in game. So
okay.
I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, I think I don't know. The internet as a whole seems to have been pretty good on keeping spoilers.
It wasn't the internet.
Oh, okay. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. We talked about it.
Yeah, I have not been spoiled on a lot, so I'm very excited about that. But I've also had my nose to the grindstone, so I haven't really had a chance to get things spoiled for me. So
yeah, but it's getting better. I want to check out online, but I don't know how much fucking I know 50% is left, but it doesn't show you how long you've played.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much more I actually have to go.
Right, and that percentage, without looking online and spoiling things, is that percentage of the entire game and all the completion stuff, or is it just game content? It does both. So then, so you could be hitting it a lot sooner.
No, I'm at 50% story, 52% overall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
So. The worst thing, I don't remember if I talked about this last week, but I had my Arthur Morgan had a full beard all the way out using the hair tonics and everything. And I got to a mission where I had to be a big wig or a rich person, and I was like, you can't show up with that beard. It doesn't match this three-piece suit.
You cut it?
I had to cut it.
Dude, you could totally rock a giant beard with a suit.
No, it didn't.
Back then, that made so much sense.
It didn't look good, and then the beard kept getting caught in the bandana when I was just really walking around, because I didn't know you could unequip it.
Yeah.
So, but that was fun.
That's cool. At least you appreciated the story enough.
I was like, this
and
is
your character enough to hey, I gotta shave.
I gotta get this pencil mustache, man. That's pretty good.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I would say, just an impressions update. If you haven't played it, play it. Like I said, it's the best life simulator I've ever played.
Yes.
And one of the better games of this year. Let me ask you this: is it your game of the year so far?
Is it my game of the year? Who are some of the other contenders? This year's been so long.
The only one I know you played is Monster Hunter World.
Monster Hunter World, I thoroughly enjoyed that game.
Yep.
I mean, that game sucked me in real fast, but I think I'm a sucker for any game that I can, one, just play online with friends, and then two, I can grind.
Mm-hmm.
games that are just single player for me really lost a huge appeal.
Yeah. Other ones, and I don't think you played either of them. God of War
Right.
is the major one. Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey is up there. I need to get back to that at some point.
Yeah, I was told that's. Oh, I have a free copy.
I have it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I paid for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got a free copy when I bought my computer, so.
Oh, fuck.
It's on the PC though.
And then you can also play that game on your Google Chrome browser too.
Oh yeah.
What? You didn't hear about that?
No.
So Google is starting a video game streaming service that you can do with pretty much any PC to play higher end games.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just in Chrome.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually had that idea as a business like 8 years ago.
It's still in beta.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of any actual service doing it well enough.
Yeah.
Because like I know there's other ones where you can like rent a $2,000 PC for whatever. But from what I've heard, you can play it on a fucking like notebook.
Yeah.
And it works fine.
Yeah, because all you're doing is streaming it, and you're putting whatever your controller and everything. All your inputs go through, and then it runs it on their system, and then it sends the feed back to you. When I was trying to come up with a business model for this, because I was like, I could actually do this. This would be reasonable that you could just throw this on any browser and you could play any game. At that time, I wasn't thinking high-end games. I was just thinking any game. Like I wanted you to be able to play like the old games that I feel like could be ran reasonably on anything, and with any internet. I couldn't get anyone to buy in on that idea.
That's unfortunate because you could be rolling in it at this point.
Back then, I don't think the internet would have supported it. Like now, it makes more sense with like gigabit speeds being really common. Well, yeah, I have it. So.
I know you have it. Looking down from your ivory tower.
It's common if I have it, right?
Yeah. Dwee, the average common man.
I am. I'm a common man.
Man of the peoples.
I'll run on that campaign.
I'm trying to think. You said there was a little bit of an issue with the Fallout 76.
Yeah. So I haven't played it myself, but I did try to keep up on it because I was looking forward to it. I'm a big fan of Fallout. Like I loved Fallout 3 and I loved New Vegas. I didn't like 4. I really didn't like. I felt like I was playing like a bad simulator for like city building. So I don't know. And I didn't get into. Like, I didn't feel like you could use your skills like you could in the previous games where if you had a high enough speech you get these bonuses, and it felt really impactful. And 4 I didn't really have that, and I think that was even they even admitted to it that was one of their biggest flaws. They tried it out and it just didn't pan out for them. So for those of you that don't know, Fallout 76 was supposed to be this MMO-esque game set in the Fallout universe, where you can log on, your friends can log on, you can play with your friends, you can meet up with other people, and just it's like everything anyone's ever wanted for Fallout, right? Take that awesome universe, take that awesome gameplay, and now we just throw your friends into it, and you get to have a great time.
Yeah.
It's being declared like one of the worst games of this year.
Yeah, it's very since I've seen her No Man's Sky like.
Yep. Yeah, they promised a lot. Like at the last one of the big convention, they were like, we have everybody working on this game. All the different studios is working on the game. This is going to be the biggest undertaking we've ever done. This is the best game we've ever made. And talk about just a terrible reception. You have video game reviewing companies that can't find anyone on their staff to even finish playing it. They gave up after like 8 hours of gameplay. And this is what these guys do for a living. They're being paid to play these games, and they're like, we can't do it. So they're leaving with either just a terrible review or a not available review, and stating that no one on their team is willing to do the review anymore. So that's bad. I saw a lot of bug issues. So there's a lot of server issues where you can't connect. There is a lot of problems where the graphics in the game just don't make sense. Like sunlight comes out of the ground a lot of times. So like they're like, there's this solar flare going, the sun flare. Let's go see where the sun's at. Let's go check this out. And they walk up to it, and it's just literally coming out of the ground and going through the trees. It just makes no sense. Connection issues. You're in the middle of gameplay and you just break down tons and tons of bugs. There is a very well-known streamer of the Fallout games, and he played 4, and he was one of the guys that actually submitted a lot of like content and a lot of reviews on the game, and is involved with a lot of the bug reporting. And one of the bugs that he noticed immediately was a bug that was built that was in Fallout 4. And in that game, they said that you can't fix it because it was there from the beginning. It's 2 years later, and they basically just copied over everything they were doing in 4. So this is barely a new game to start with, and they copied over all the bugs that 4 had.
It seems like they've almost kind of copied previous Assassin's Creed where there just wasn't enough time. Because you look at Skyrim that came out, what, 2013?
Yeah, 2013 or so, yeah.
2011, and there still hasn't been a new one. So
Right.
you know there's going to be enough advancements between that one and this one, whereas Fallout 76, for lack of a better term, copy and paste.
Yeah, it was copy and paste, and copy and paste works as long as you're putting in new content. Like New Vegas was a copy and paste of 3, right?
Yeah.
But they introduced whole new storylines, tons of things to do, and it worked even though it was using the same thing that 3 was based on. So it can work, and people love New Vegas. 76 just didn't do that. On top of, like, people are doing refunds, they're not letting people do refunds. And then there was a $200 collection that came out, and it was advertised with coming this really nice messenger bag made of canvas, and people are getting it, and it's made of cheap nylon. And the company is coming out and stating that the advertisement was just a prototype, and it was never expected to be that, or they're coming out. There was a debacle with a customer support rep saying the wrong thing, so then that person was fired, and then they finally made a statement. It's just been a terrible release. And like you're a big company. This isn't like a small company over-promising and then getting into a big trouble for it. You are a AAA company. You should not have these kind of problems.
Especially Bethesda of all places. I mean, normally Bethesda game, there's jank.
There's tons of bugs in them every time. That's fine.
But the fact that, one, they fucked up the pre-order, two, they stripped away everything that people cared about in the universe. The fact, I get it, like why they don't have NPCs because of the lore to an extent.
Right.
But
you can make NPCs unkillable. Like, what's the problem with that? I know that's not Elder Scrolls did that, where you weren't able to kill the NPCs. It's not ideal, but at least it's something. Or make them respawn. I don't know. I just feel like there's a better solution than stripping away all the NPCs.
And just having straight robots all the time.
You lose a lot of the cool things that you were doing in Fallout. I was always interacting with the players, the NPCs, meeting these crazy NPCs that want to blow up an entire city.
Or just like the first time you go into, I don't remember what number it is, where there's all the guys with the same name. Just run around yelling. That's fucking crazy. You don't get that in 76.
So you basically just have this universe, and it's the setting of this universe you love, and then everything else is gone, and then it's buggier than all hell. And then, the streamers were grouping up with people, and you would leave their party, and they would still be hearing you. You could still hear each other. And you did, yeah. So this guy was like in the middle of chat. I was like, oh man, I forgot to send them an invite to be a friend or whatever. And they were still talking to him while he was talking to his chat group.
Really?
Yeah, real awkward. So, yeah, I don't know, just really disappointing.
Has there been any games, for example, like where you pre-ordered that you were super excited for that just dropped the ball?
Oh, yeah. So, it's actually the game that turned me off of pre-orders altogether. So, I will still pre-order a game if I have all my friends pre-ordering that game. So if I have a bunch of friends like you guys are like, oh, we're gonna play Red Dead and we're gonna jump on that online, boom, I'm in. I don't care. I'll buy in on that just for the friends factor, right? I will not do it with single player games anymore. I'll wait for it to be released and then see how it plans out. One of the biggest flops, I think, in anyone's it was the biggest like MMO flop because it was such a big deal. But Final Fantasy 14, when that game came out, I bought in. I went hard, man. My friend, I'm a big WoW player. It used to be. I'm not anymore. But I always wanted to get into 11, but I always felt like I was so behind on everything, so I never wanted to get into it. And then 14 was coming out, and I was like, man, Every one of my friends is getting this. I'm geeked. I'm bored of WoW. I'm gonna jump on 14.
Yeah.
Bought the big collector's edition. I was ready to go. Load up the game, start playing. There was like nothing to do after like level 20 in the game, and you had to just start like grinding mobs, like original MMO status, just going out and grinding mobs, and it was really, really boring. And we're talking about, once again, a AAA title. It was so bad that Square like fired the entire team that was a part of the Final Fantasy 14 game and the development. I think they kept on very few people as a whole, and then I believe they made the entire thing free to play, and then took them 2 years, and then they re-released Final Fantasy 14 with a new launch and called it A Realm Reborn, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Realm Reborn. For some reason, I thought that was something with lightning.
Oh no, Lightning was all like Final Fantasy 13. There's like a bunch of those. It was like 3 of them, I think.
Yeah, the Final Fantasy series in general confuses the shit out of me.
Oh yeah, they're very confusing.
Just the numbering of everything, and I haven't played a single one.
Yeah. That's a whole other thing I could jump into. But I've played I think I played every single one since like 7 and up, and then I played a couple of the other ones. But yeah, so like it was just a terrible game, a terrible launch. All my friends jumped off of it. I was out the money, and then I didn't want to play the game anymore because it was so bad. It is now currently one of the best MMOs.
Is it?
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic now. But I don't have the time to get back into the game, and I want to rebuy it. I think I'm sure my account still works to get access to it because there was like this whole dedication to the players that originally bought it. But that was a game at least that messed up, owned up to it, and was committed to making it right, and they did, and that's just fantastic. Because in today's day and age, it's unfortunate, but games will release buggy. That's just how it is. If they can make 95% of the game work and fix the other, and then push it to production, and then fix the other 5% with a patch on the day one, they will do that, and it makes sense to do that. Honestly, that's fine. It sucks for the players that might not have an internet connection, but it works for however bad that it is, because it's the realistic side of business. Because video games, we're in a business. That's just how it works. But that was probably one of the worst launches, and it left a really bad taste in my mouth. So.
You know what the best day one patch is?
What's up?
Sea of Thieves.
Oh, yeah?
Did you ever hear about that?
No.
So there was nothing broken in Sea of Thieves, so they had a day one eye patch that you could buy. I was like, that's clever. There's nothing to do in this game, but that's clever.
Could you only buy it on day one?
I think you just gotta have like if you were a date, like if you bought like like you know how they have a day one edition, but you can still buy it like a couple days afterwards.
Yeah.
That whole thing.
I always appreciate games that do like special things for like logging on during a special day, or like being on for that week. Like I always appreciate that. They're like, hey, this is some cool stuff that we're giving you just because you're one of the people that are hanging out with us and doing this. So.
Yeah. Also, Rocket League does that to an extent.
Yeah.
They just, I don't know, I love that game, and the fact that they just keep adding more like. It's all cosmetic shit, but it's like pop culture shit, like that Rick and Morty.
Yeah, and I mean, they're not a free-to-play game, but that's the good model to be a part of, right?
It's close to a free-to-play. Like, you have a $20 barrier to entry, and I get it. I mean, to me, it's a better run game than, like, say, Fortnite is.
Yeah.
In terms of the engine and everything. But you have $20, and then you can buy Battle Pass if you want, or Rocket Pass. But you just constantly are unlocking cosmetic shit, and you're never at a disadvantage if somebody else bought it.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing. Like, if you're in a free-to-play model or a very small barrier to entry model, your microtransaction should just be cosmetic.
Yep.
It should never, or it should be a convenience. I accept that as well.
Yeah.
I, however, will never accept any game that lets you do a microtransaction to get an advantage. So that's the pay-to-win model, and it's just an awful model to be a part of.
Yeah, I know League does a really good job with it. Assassin's Creed, they had you can buy stuff, but they also have something that you can buy for just an XP boost.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, League of Legends is the biggest.
Dota.
Dota does it. I think you just buy into Dota now.
Okay.
I think that's the case. I don't play Dota, but like a bunch of MOBA games do it, and some of them do like one-time fee and you get access to everything. I think not Heroes of the Storm. There was
Hearthstone?
Huh?
No, Hearthstone's not a
Hearthstone's a
MOBA.
card game. There was another MOBA though that did that, and it was originally just a one-time fee, and you would get access to all the champions, and you'd be able to play everything. So, and you get all access to all the new content too, which is a cool model. But unfortunately for a business, it's just not a good model to be part of. League and a lot of other games, they go with the model of you have to put in time to get these champions, or you have to pay money to do it. So you can grind it out and get every single champion. Now, I played a ton of League, and I still do on occasion, but I have like every champion, and if you actually look at the time it takes to get everything, it's nuts. But I have never paid $1 for any champion. All the purchases I've done in the game are always cosmetic or additional like things to make it convenient for me, like rune pages or something like that.
Yeah.
I would have to pay for. So
So I'm actually gonna roll this right into Nerd Curious.
Yeah.
Because we had one, but I want to change it. Real
Okay.
quick. MOBA.
MOBA.
I know we haven't done MOBA because me and Nelson do not play MOBAs.
Yeah.
So all we have you on here.
Okay.
What's a MOBA?
I forget what it stands for all of a sudden. So we can pull that up. But so MOBA games are your multiplayer online battle arena. So the popular one that everybody grew up on was Dota, which was just a mod of Warcraft 3, I was told. I never actually played it, but that's what I'm told. I was big into, I played Dota a little bit, and I mean Dota 2 a bit, but I couldn't get into it because I was already really committed into League of Legends. Smite's another one that came out. Paragon, I believe, was another one that came out.
Yep.
Heroes of the Storm from Blizzard is really popular.
Paladins?
Paladin, I think, was another one. So they've come and gone, and there is an insane amount of knockoffs that use like the same, like they just reskin League of Legends or reskin Dota, which I find hilarious. And like they put, I think there's one that's like superheroes, which they just reskin all the champions and try to find the most relevant superhero for that. But so a MOBA though, you are on a team generally. All the ones I played, you're on a team. You're on a team of like either 3 or 5 or 2, whatever the team makeup would be. And usually, how you win the game is that they have a nexus or a very central point in their base, and you need to blow it up. And the only way you can do that, or attack it till it has no HP, okay? But you need to get all the gates or the turrets or the towers, all these different items that are in your way, and you have to get the pathway open to that. And once you have, you can then break it down.
Yeah.
And usually the case will be like there are kind of like those classic roles. So there's like tanks, supports. There's like assassins, melee DPS with assassins. There's also like magic DPS with assassins, like sustained damage, like all these different roles. But usually, support, tank, and DPS are your 3 roles.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of variations on that. So you pick a role, and then you are versing in, usually there's lanes. So in League of Legends, for example, there's 3 lanes. And then you pick the role and go to your lane. You defeat either minions that show up in the lane and kind of farm money that way, or you can defeat opponents. And if you defeat them in combat and actually kill them, you get more money, and then you go back and you buy items. So every time you start the game, everybody has the same amount of starting gold.
Yep.
And everybody's off the same starting point. Like you have to level up to level 30 in League, I think still. I don't know, I haven't been account forever, but I believe you still have to level up to level 30, and then once you reach level 30, everybody gets access to this tree, and then you can kind of customize your character based off that tree a little bit, but everybody would have access to that. And then you level up with experience in the game, so everybody in the game will start off at level 1, and in League you can go up to level 18. So over the course of the game, you collect money, level up to get advantages over your opponents, and then once you connect with money, you're much better off in fighting, and then you can defeat the opponents, and then there's objectives to get bonuses, and then from doing that, you are able to get advantage, push towers, access gates, break them open, get additional advantages, and then eventually win the game.
What is the? It's not gang. There's like a little forest part usually.
Yeah, usually, so there, like I was saying, there's 3 lanes.
Yep.
There's actually another quote-unquote 4th lane, and that 4th lane is called usually the jungler. The jungler collects experience in a hidden area. Usually, it's like they're called neutral monsters usually. So there's the opponent's creeps or minions, and then your creeps or minions, and then neutral creeps or minions. So in League, you can only attack your opponent's minions, and you can't actually interact with yours. In Dota, you can do both. And that's actually really a cool thing that Dota does that actually sets it to a higher skill level. You have to deny creeps. So, like, you have to not only pay attention to the HP of these minions so you can last hit them, because that's how you get the money. You have to have the very final hit on it to get the money. But if you're good at it, you can not only maintain awareness on the HP of all of your opponent's creatures, you can also do it on yours, so when they go for the last hit on one of your minions, you hit them instead, and then you deny them that money. So there's not only gains that you can pull from their gains as well.
Yeah.
Adding an extra layer of how good are you at this game. They're usually just super mechanically inclined games. League's huge, Dota's huge, there's insane prize support for it. You know, it's a great game to play with friends. That's how I got into it.
Yeah.
I would stay up at the game shops with my friends. We'd have 10 of us all bring our laptops, and we'd just play for like 10 hours. So we just wouldn't sleep that night. And that's what we were doing. That's how we got in. I got really into it. But it's a lot of fun. Yeah. So
I tried to download it once, and it was just too big of a download that I was just like, it's not for me, apparently.
Yeah, I think I've been fortunate that, like, I've always had like a decent laptop, and then I ended up buying like my first gaming computer using school refund money that I was supposed to use for other things. So
Nice. Statute of limitations is up.
yeah.
Well, I've always had a MacBook.
No, it was a loan refund. So
I've had MacBooks pretty much until this PC. So I was just like, yeah, it's okay.
I actually ran.
It'll run on a Mac. I know that. But
No, I ran WoW on a Mac. That's how I pretty much played WoW for the majority of my WoW career.
Is it?
And so I think I told you before, like I was a guild leader, raid leader, I was in the tank, and anytime I ever explained to someone what I had to do to actually use and play the game, like no one believes me. So I used the touchpad to play the game. Yeah. So
why?
I didn't have a mouse. I didn't have a mouse.
Buy the mouse?
Like, I don't know.
$20 at most.
Just didn't buy one. So then,
Okay.
but I was like, I was really good at it. So I got like really used to using the touchpad. So I would like sprawl my hands over the whole keyboard and then have both thumbs on like the touchpad. So like I would use the touchpad for like controlling. It was like this sprawling effect. So like my left hand would be like aware of like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the shift key, like I would just like bounce back and forth like that. And then my thumb would be ready to click if necessary. These hands were ready for the WASD, and then this hand was ready for the directional pad as well, and then being able to control the right side. So like one of the co-guild leaders with me asked me about it one time because he's like, you move really awkwardly in the game, and it doesn't make sense to me how you're doing this. And I explained to him, and he's like, that doesn't make sense. Eventually, I bought the gaming computer, and then I got used to your normal setup, and then I couldn't go back. So
I'm still not used to it.
No?
No, the whole PC gaming, like, I guess really the only game I've played extensively is PUBG.
Okay.
And just the whole WASD for the directional, it
Yeah.
fucks me up. But it, you know.
Yeah,
you
like
can always add a controller too. I know I
Yeah,
can, but
that's what I did. Like I'll use the keyboard and mouse for any game where it's advantageous to do the keyboard and mouse. But a lot of games that if I'm playing like any action adventure game, I'm just gonna hook up a controller.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to. I'm just gonna still enjoy it. So.
like I'm planning on getting Rocket League eventually on here just to make it easier for streaming.
Cool.
I'm gonna try to hook up my Pro controller for my Switch because I
Okay.
don't fucking use my Switch.
Oh really?
Which
Tragic.
I just forget. I forget I have it because it's behind the TV. I still need to finish
My
Breath of the Wild.
friends literally bring it everywhere. So every time we go to a gaming tournament, I have no doubt that on the trip tomorrow, 2 of them will bring it and they'll just be playing the whole time.
Let's Go Pikachu.
Yeah. So.
Have you played it?
No, I haven't.
I played it for a minute at Aaron's house, and it's interesting, but the fact that you can't do wild Pokemon battles and just like that's it.
Yeah, that's really weird. You have to like do the catching system that they have. Funny business aspect, when the company, I think it was this week, they announced what engine they used for Let's Go Pikachu. It spiked up 18% in stock value.
Did it really?
Yeah. So
But I am so like next year when a mainline Pokemon game comes out on the Switch, I am so fucking down. Because the last one I played was X or Y, one of those two is that gen.
Yeah.
And I enjoy those games, but there's just something about the whole Pokemon Go never appealed to me, and then that being merged with that, I'm just like, I can wait.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I enjoy what Pokemon Go does. I enjoy what it represents, but I do not enjoy the gameplay itself. I am also a fan of like basically I like Pokemon because I like RPGs.
Baby's first RPG.
Yep.
It's
so
it's good times.
Yeah, and then you get it. Then you're really obsessed with the turn-based RPG system. You're like, oh man, I gotta see this.
You do Pokemon. You play like maybe one or two of those, and you're like, oh man, I keep hearing about Fire Emblem, so you just slowly slide into Fire Emblem.
I haven't like.
Have you not played one?
I have never played a Fire. I know the game how it works.
I love
because it's just like tactics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I have never got into it because there are certain things I know about myself, and I know I have an addictive personality. So I purposely avoid certain things just because I know that if I get into it, I'm gonna have way too many hobbies.
Yeah.
And way too many game addictions. So.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So it's have to have the self control at times, and
it's hard. It's hard. You know what else is hard?
What's that?
Waiting for that Avengers 4 trailer.
Oh my gosh! Someone posted on Reddit that I just like. I'm gonna cry if they actually do this. They said, "What if they never release a trailer, a legit one, and all they do is release the 5-second, 10-second teaser or
just
posters,
name and release date?"
Yes.
I'd be fine with that.
Honestly. I actually would. I don't want them to give away anything.
I don't want them to give away anything, but I also want to see some things. Like I just want a trailer to get that hype moment because that's what it's coming out April, right?
Yeah.
Okay. April's gonna be a good ass month.
It is.
We got Avengers. We got Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
You know what we're not gonna get? New Daredevil. So that was the whole bait and switch going around the internet. Yeah. It just cracked me the fuck up. It's like, what do we want? Avengers 4 trailer. What do we get? Daredevil. It's just like.
Well, it's like not canceled, right?
I've heard it's not going to the Disney platform.
Okay, so purely speculation, obviously.
Yeah.
So we got Luke Cage done, Iron Fist is done. Jessica Jones and Punisher has one more season. They've already confirmed that, so they'll finish that before they cancel it. And Daredevil is now confirmed to cancel and all that. So everybody knows that there's this whole thing behind all these shows getting pulled, all these movies getting pulled, is that Disney's trying to just consolidate all of their content onto one platform and then release their own streaming platform. And I gotta tell you, as far as a media company goes, Disney's the one to do it. No one else can have the backing that Disney has, as far as just pure content goes. So when you have a company that large and they're like, we're doing this, they're going to do it. Like, they can just throw their money around. It's a non-issue.
They can. My question about, I kind of get off topic. So I know sports isn't a big thing for most of the people that do the podcast. It is for me.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to include ESPN?
So that's a really interesting thing that they can do that no one else can do, right?
Yeah.
Like, no one else can stream that kind of content because Disney owns
outside
it,
of YouTube TV. And
well, they're doing it through TV purposes though, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't go back and watch the game, right?
You can record it.
You can record it,
and then
but
it'll go on demand eventually.
Okay, but can you do like, I want to watch all the games from this team for this year?
I don't think so.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, Disney owns ESPN, right?
Yep.
And
ABC.
Yeah, they own all that. So they're the giant that gets to control this. So if they really wanted to, and really started off well, and get the insane amount of subscribers that they need to compete with giants like Netflix, it's doing the sports package.
Yep.
If they could start off with just that, man, you subscribe with us, you get the sports package, and
you get Daredevil, Luke Cage, you get a Star Wars series,
all the Star Wars stuff, all the Marvel stuff, and then all the kids stuff that Disney already has access to.
Which is what's fucking missing from streaming packages.
Yeah.
If you look at it, like, the Netflix has some kids stuff, but they don't have like the main ones. Like, was it Paw Patrol? Is that the big one now?
Yeah. So like the problem with that is, and this is what Netflix is running into, and Hulu's approaching it a really great way. But I think Prime and Netflix kind of fall into the same boat. So they have tons of streaming content. Netflix obviously was doing it first and had more subscribers. But you used to be able to get content, movies, TV shows, just so cheap. No one cared about streaming. They thought it was just an add-on, right? You can rent movies, but while you're renting movies, you might want to check out this item just because it's available already, right? And then it became that's what everybody wanted. But at first, you were getting it dirt cheap. Everybody was just basically giving it away because they thought it was free money. And then they realized, actually, we're losing money because we could be getting more money out of it, right? Disney's been pulling all that content away from people, so people haven't been starving for it. But that's why you see Hulu, Netflix, Prime pushing tons of money into their own original content, right? If it's my content, no one can steal that from me. And then you have stuff like BoJack Horseman being actually aired on Comedy Central now.
Is it?
Yeah. Like they're starting it over, from my understanding. It's starting from season 1 and airing it on Comedy Central. You don't get that with anything else. No one else has, like, it's always been on TV, on cable, and then goes to the streaming platform. Now it's reversed. That's showing you how powerful streaming content, how good streaming content has become.
And now you're getting exclusives too, like exclusives, non-originals. Like for example, Justified. Can only watch it on Amazon Prime. Same with Mr. Robot.
Yeah.
Because I finally started watching that fucking show.
So good, right?
I'm only 2 episodes in, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be like a whole, he's gonna work for the cops thing, and so far so not. It's not.
But it's a good show, a really good show.
Anything you want to push me over the edge to watch that?
What?
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Have you seen that yet?
Yeah. I loved it.
It was a good ass movie.
Yeah, I really.
Inaccurate as hell, but it was good.
Was it inaccurate?
Yeah.
Like how inaccurate? Like did they get the broad strokes right at least?
They never broke up.
Oh really?
He didn't get AIDS. He wasn't diagnosed with AIDS before the Live Aid concert.
Oh no.
We Will Rock You was on the second album.
Okay.
Not in the mid '80s, but everything else kind of accurate.
Okay.
But I enjoyed it. We haven't talked about this in the podcast. Finally saw Sorry to Bother You.
Oh yeah.
That movie, one, as somebody put it to me, woke as shit.
Right.
And two, the weirdest fucking swerve I've ever seen in a movie.
It's like. So Tyler and I saw it in theaters with some other people, right?
Yeah, I think we talked about this last week, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go into it anyways.
So
don't put up the spoiler.
It is. Okay, I won't get into spoilers, but a little bit of a spoiler. I feel like the only flaw I had with this movie, because I really enjoyed this movie, I enjoyed what they were trying to do more than actually probably the movie itself. But it was pulling on a lot of things, and I think it pulled one too many plot lines.
Yeah.
That obscure one, the swerve, the big swerve at the end with all that stuff. That's the one that I feel if they could have removed that portion, I felt it would have been a better movie.
Or just toned it down to an
extent. Yeah.
Like instead of being like, I don't want to get into it, but instead of it being that particular thing, maybe it's just a minority instead.
Yes, yeah, and that would have tied really well with the beginning of the movie and some of the other subplots they had going on, because I felt like they had one central plot and then 2 decent subplots going on, right? And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, just boom, those things don't matter anymore. This is what we're talking about, and I think that kind of made the movie so much worse. But I still really enjoyed it. And I appreciate what the director was doing. So.
And I really enjoyed that actor too. Like, I mean, he's on Atlanta.
Yeah.
But like, I just thought of him as Darius, just a stoner dude. He's a good actor.
Yes. And I think he's actually getting a lot more roles from that movie and from Atlanta too. So
that's the only thing I've seen Glenn from Walking Dead on since he left.
Yeah, but he's actually starting to break into a bunch of roles now.
Yeah, Ty was talking about some movie where he may or may not be a serial killer, and the director hasn't told him which way it is, so he just plays it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'm glad. I want that guy to do very well. Like, he was a very important character on Walking Dead, and he deserves. He's a good actor. He deserves to have a good career.
So. You still watch that show?
No, gave up.
Where'd you stop?
Season 3.
Yep. That's the end point for most people. Yep.
But and I really, really loved season 1. Like, if there was a show that was just a miniseries instead of what it became, and they gave me a good ending point, it would have been Walking Dead season 1.
Yeah, it's kind of like how if Narcos would have finished at season 2, it would have been one of my favorite series. But the fact that they put that 3rd season on there, kind of.
And now it's like Narcos Mexico
with Michael Pena.
Yeah. Have you watched that?
I watched the first 5 minutes, and then I was like, I want to watch something else. And I started watching Mr. Robot.
Yeah. So like a big thing for me right now is I can't really watch things on subtitles because I usually watch something while I'm working or watch something while I'm gaming. And if it has subtitles, I just automatically have to put it on my back burner list.
Yeah.
So.
That's kind of what I ran into with Mayans, is there's a lot of Spanish in it. and I was finding myself not watching it sometimes
Because of the subtitles.
sometimes I'd have it on, but I'd just be on my phone. And
Yeah.
What the fuck just happened?
Right.
Yeah, but
So then you have to go back, and sometimes, like, if you can at least hear what's going on, you can process it. But without the ability to hear it, you kind of miss out on it. So.
Oh, you're fine, sir. Yeah, and that's another streaming thing that I just found out. So I was like, okay, I finished Mayans. I want to go back and rewatch Sons.
Yeah.
Because it's good. It's a good series. It's not on Netflix. It's not available to stream all seasons on Amazon. So I don't know if it's on Hulu now or what.
Hulu actually did a really good job of snagging a lot of TV shows that were recently off air. I get Hulu for free with my student Spotify, which is kind of cool, and I also get like half price on Spotify.
Nice.
Spotify, if you're out there and you want to sponsor us, we're looking. But yeah, so I get it with that, so it's a sweet deal. I have to get like Showtime or something like that. They just add on a bunch of stuff. I don't know. I just accept it.
Showtime.
If they start charging me, I'll say no. But until then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know, but I think that's one of the big struggles, right? That's the big fear that everybody always had with streaming services, that eventually we're going to go backwards. So TV, cable started, and you had like these amazing packages that came with these like awesome shows and awesome channels, and then it got like they added on more channels and more channels and more channels, and the quality of these channels just go down and down and down. Like if you have like 400 channels, I bet you watch like 10.
Yeah.
If that. I know I paid for my parents to have an insane amount of channels, and they watched 3 Vietnamese channels, 2 soccer channels, and that's it. And so for those 5 channels, I have to pay a really big price tag, but I can't access those Vietnamese channels without paying an exorbitant amount of money for a base package. That I can't do the regular base package. I have to do one step up. And then I can't access the soccer channels without accessing the regular sports package first, and then I can access the soccer channels. What kind of crock is that?
Yeah, cable's got a cable dish and all that. They have a reckoning coming, I believe.
They do. They've actually they lost 1 million subscribers this last quarter.
And you can see that because DirecTV is doing their whole DirecTV Now situation. But the fact that the biggest thing was you don't have live sports. Now Hulu has it. You have PlayStation View, Sling, YouTube TV. I really love YouTube TV.
Yeah.
I enjoy the shit out of it because
I know my dad loves YouTube.
Yeah,
discovered YouTube this year.
The coolest thing about it is you have YouTube TV. If you pay for that, you get all the YouTube original shows too.
Okay.
So like a couple months ago, I was watching Laser Team, which was a Rooster Teeth movie down there. Didn't have to pay a fucking thing for it. I just got to watch it. But you have all those now that they're all getting that streaming.
How much is it? If you don't mind me asking.
40.
40 a month.
I paid 20.
40 a month?
40 a month.
Man,
and
that seems pricey.
No, because you get live locals.
Okay.
You have on demand.
Don't you get live locals for free anyway?
Not in HD, depending on what part of the city you're in.
HD broadcast you do, don't you?
No, I mean I know, but then you don't have to worry about it's raining. Fuck, I can't watch my show. Or
I thought that was the point of them going digital. So
no, it still fucks up.
Is it okay?
Yeah, the only time I've had good antenna reception is when I lived in Chicago, and then I got like 60.
I have to believe you because I don't watch local TV.
I pay 20. So I'm splitting it with somebody, so 20 to me is reasonable. That's like.
Well, you're both paying 20, so you're still paying 40.
Yes, but
okay, so
it's a split
you get live sports,
live locals.
What else do you get?
You also have like you get the CW, FX, everything like you get most of your regular cables.
Okay,
USA is not on there.
Like the channels you actually would watch.
Exactly.
Okay. That's pretty reasonable.
You can do news if you want to.
So it's actually like a good alternative to cable without having to pick up like Netflix and Hulu or Prime. You can like get this and like I'm set for TV.
Yeah, I mean I still have Netflix just because Netflix to me like I don't feel it come out of my wallet anymore because it's just you need
That's how it gets you, man.
I know. Right now we have Prime just because of the holidays. You got to get that 30 days of Prime so you can get that 2-day shipping.
Oh, dude, I'm a Prime fanboy. I've had Prime for 10 years now, I think, because I got it for free, like because you get that student free, and I don't know what happened. They must have. I feel like I must have had a special account or some customer service rep really loved me. I had free Prime for like 4 years, and I think it's supposed to be like 2 years free for students, and then it goes to like 2 years of like half price or something. I had 4 years of free Prime, and then like 4 years of half price. I had paid for full price for the first time last year.
Damn.
So.
But it's worth it. I mean, Prime is worth it. I'm realizing that more because you get 2-day shipping, you get access to sales, you get the streaming, and then if you read a lot of books, you get free books.
You also have music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
So it's a pretty sweet deal. I don't use the music, and I pay for Spotify, which is always like I don't know why I'm doing it, but I like Spotify a lot, and I get Spotify because I'm a student.
Mm-hmm.
Gives me half price, and then I get like I get Hulu, I get Showtime. But like that's the issue we're at right now, right? So technically, I pay for Netflix, I pay for Hulu, in one way or another. I'm paying for it, and then I'm paying for Prime. So you add all these things up, and right now I get Prime specifically because I want the shipping.
Yep.
So that's a big deal to me. I want 2-day shipping, and I'm only getting Hulu because I'm paying for Spotify. But I think I find a lot of my friends getting into these situations where they're paying for Netflix, they're paying full price for Hulu, they're paying full price for Prime, and then they're getting stuff like Sling TV and YouTube TV, things like that. And you add those up, and all of a sudden you're back to that price tag of cable.
Yep.
So
more convenient.
More convenient, and it's the content you watch, which is a big deal to me. I don't want to pay $140, $120 to get 99% of the channels I don't want to watch. I don't care about those channels. I just want to watch the stuff I want to watch.
And God forbid your promo ends.
Yeah.
They need to fix that shit so bad.
Oh yeah, it's the dumbest thing. I actually just renewed my parents' DirecTV. It took me 30 minutes, 3 transfers, and having me say the same thing. No, I'm not interested in this. I just want to do some kind of thing to break this price down. You've doubled my rate. Went from 120 to 200. And I said, I'd like to get that back down to 120. I'm okay with paying the 120. I'm not okay with 200. They're like, well, we can't do anything better. We're taking a look at your account. You want to remove some content, and then that'll get the price down? Yes, because that's what I want to do. I want to remove the stuff that I have to pay for, that you forced me to pay for, in order to get the price down. That makes so much sense. And you didn't notify me about this contract ending, and I needed to renew it, so I got hit with a big charge. And I had to be transferred 3 times. You know the end they have who they transferred me to?
Retention?
No. Retention was the first transfer.
Really?
Retention no longer handles what I'm looking for. So you used to be able to always do like, nope, looking to cancel. They send you to retention. Retention gets you the hookup, gets you back to your price, maybe throws on another promo or something. You're done. 10-minute conversation tops. It's annoying. Everyone knows how to do it, but that's what you did.
Yep.
Now, I got transferred from basic level customer service to the supervisor or something. Then they transferred me to retention. And then retention said, well, you've been with us for so long. I don't know. I don't want you to know this, but I don't do this for everyone. But just for you, I'm going to send you to our VIP specialist. Now, they only handle select calls that have been elevated to this level. And I want you to know that you are such an important customer to us that we're going to transfer you there. I'm like, okay. Transferred me. Still took another 10-minute phone call from that. But that person was able to give me that deal that it was the same price. I just got back to the same price I was paying. That doesn't make me feel special. It makes me feel like the same person that I started this conversation with. I just lost 35 minutes of my phone time though.
Yeah. So that's the shitty part.
Yeah. But back to the start of this, if there was a media company that could do all of this and do it well, would be Disney. Disney's the one that could do this. And unfortunately, they are such a big corporation that they can just
do what they want.
Yeah, no one can stop them. If they wanted to buy out companies, they do, and they're just going to have control of all media.
They could honestly be like, "Hey, we're going to go to, we're going to only have release movies in drive-thrus. Everybody would still fucking go."
Yeah,
because they have the IPs to push the streaming service and to push the movies.
Yeah.
If they wanted to do something like they're doing right now, pulling everything from Netflix and do their own streaming service, people are gonna pay out the ass for it.
Yeah, I know that there's a real good chance that when they release it, if it's affordable price, $10-15, I probably will get it. There's no doubt. I'll probably cancel one of my other things, or I'll do what some people do where they rotate the service.
Yep.
Netflix doesn't have anything good right now, I'm gonna switch to Hulu for 3 months. All right, Hulu doesn't have anything good right now, I'm gonna switch to Prime. Prime doesn't have anything good, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go over to Disney, and then next year I'm gonna start that whole rotation over again. So,
but we're gonna move along because it's not gonna be full of stream monkeys today. Streaming monkeys. Yeah, there we go. What's your favorite garbage holiday movie?
Garbage holiday movie. So I just watched The Grinch with my brother. He really wanted to see that movie for some reason.
The new one?
Yeah.
How was it?
With Cumberbatch.
I've heard mixed reviews.
Yeah, I feel like it's a really good kids movie.
Yeah.
It was enjoyable at parts. There's some characters that are actually pretty funny.
Okay.
Definitely a kids movie.
Is it?
That would be my review. If you got some kids, some nieces, some nephews, anything like that, and they want to just go catch a fun holiday movie, they do a pretty good take on it. To be honest, I still enjoy obviously the original is just fantastic, and the Jim Carrey version was also.
And it gets better as you get older because you realize he's just a fucking adult and he hates people.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
There's a lot of hidden like innuendos in there, and a lot of like there's the scene that everybody's a swinger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So a lot of great stuff in there. Favorite bad holiday movie? I'm gonna have to think on what's yours.
I've got two.
Okay.
So the first one is Harold and Kumar very Harold and Kumar at Christmas.
Yeah, you just posted.
I just watched it. I watch it every year since it came out.
Okay.
I don't know why. Like I enjoy the first Harold and Kumar. The second one's complete shit.
Yeah.
You don't need to watch it.
Terrible.
But there's just something about that movie, and like we watched it on YouTube TV this week, and I have to think that they went in and they're like, okay, it's gonna be edited. We're gonna make it as extremely edited as possible and make it dumb as shit. So instead of saying like ass, they're like poop. So you're like, you know, the scene with Neil Patrick Harris because I'm gay for that ass. Because I'm gay for that poop. Just, like, it's the best. It's the best worst edit I've ever seen of it.
Yeah, like they're just so self-aware.
Yeah, and it becomes to me, it's like, it's kind of like the Grinch where you're like, oh, they're going through some shit because they're getting older, and one of them's still smoking weed and not taking care of his life. The other one's trying to move on. And all that. I don't know. I enjoy that one, and one I don't watch like nearly as often. That's garbage. Is Just Friends.
Just Friends.
With Ryan Reynolds, where he starts off fat.
Yeah, then he loses weight.
People forget that's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's set in Christmas, and I enjoy it. I like Ryan Reynolds. Anna Faris is funny.
Yeah.
The one chick on there is okay. The other dude from that show is on Flash now. The other guy that was ugly who like becomes the EMT.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I gotta go back and watch that. I'm trying to refresh my memory, honestly, on some Christmas movies. I don't watch a ton of them.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, I loved Nightmare Before Christmas, though. In fact, does that count?
I mean, it's not garbage. Is the problem?
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Garbage one. For some reason, both me and my significant other think of Harry Potter as Christmas movies for some reason.
Because they came out at Christmas time.
They came out Christmas time. They always have that Christmas scene.
Yeah.
So we're rewatching those slowly but surely.
Elf isn't garbage. I can't pick that one.
Mm-hmm.
And
want me to search garbage?
Yeah, can I get a list? Because I've watched a ton. Is it good?
Yeah.
Oh. Does Jingle All the Way count as a bad one?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So, I have like a fond memory of that movie.
Do you?
Yeah, because I watched that movie when I was flying to Vietnam when I was a kid. So, like, I always remember that movie, and it was not good. But as a kid, loved it, man. That movie just did not care. What else do we got out here? Christmas with the Cranks. Didn't watch it. I was told it was just terrible, so I just didn't even go.
So I'm going to do something and see if we can get it to pull up here. It's not working. All right, I'm going to go ahead and remove that. So we got Christmas with the Cranks. That's one of them. I don't think that's that great. These are all terrible movies.
Santa Buddies? I didn't even know they came out with the Santa Buddies.
And we're not going to touch that one.
Uh-huh.
Christmas Caper?
Oh, is she robbing people?
Is that Shannon Doherty?
That's Shannon Doherty.
Oh.
So that's what she did. She did that and like didn't finish her
I remember Prancer. It wasn't good. Before Christmas is actually not bad.
It's on the 25 worst movies of all time list for Christmas.
I have a soft spot for Vince Vaughn for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, he can be really good when he wants.
Just Friends.
There's your list. It's on there,
yeah.
right?
Santa's Sleigh.
Oh, that's like a horror movie then, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
The one. Yeah, Bill Goldberg. I don't know that one. Fred Claus, another Vince Vaughn movie. Not that bad.
I think he just like Vince Vaughn. You have a crush on him.
Watch it. It's not that bad. I don't know that one.
No, that's old.
Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, mine was 12.
Yeah. Deck the Halls was garbage.
Oh,
Did you ever see that?
No.
It's basically Danny DeVito and Matthew Broderick.
Oh, they're competing.
Yes.
Yes.
It's not good. Don't know Black Christmas.
That was another horror one. That was terrible.
Rudolph and Frosty's Christmas in July. So it's not the main one.
Okay. I was saying that one's always played. How's that bad?
Eric and Carol. This looks like.
Oh, it must be a
Gun.
remake of the original story.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awful.
Surviving Christmas. Don't know that one. Jack Frost is not a bad movie.
Wow. How does that
Fuck
make
you.
the list?
Michael Keaton is amazing in
It's
that.
like a classic.
Elves is a horror movie.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
1959 Santa's Claus movie. I'm sure it would be bad.
Santa with Muscle starring
Hulk Hogan. Holy crap.
I might have to watch that movie. Oh, Jesus. That's another horror movie. I don't know why they make horror Christmas movie. Santa Conquers the Martians. That looks bad.
Oh god, that looks like a. Is that from the 50s?
60s.
60s. Wow.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
So, we're going to move on from bad Christmas
Okay.
movies. This question comes in, phoned in from Nelson.
Okay.
Elon Musk is sending people to Mars for $100 grand. Would you go? And what would have to happen for you to go?
Okay. First, is it 100 grand flat? Like, if I go for like a couple of years, am I still just getting 100 grand? Because I feel like I need to know that. But let's just say it's realistic and I get 100 grand a year.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's pretty realistic, right? I gotta uproot my entire life, go live on a spaceship for who knows how long, and then get to Mars. Yeah, I'd go. I don't know. I would want to go. I'll say that much. Like, I feel like if I could go and nothing was holding me back, I would just I'm in. Let's go. Because it would be so cool to be a part of that crew and be a part of that undertaking.
Mm-hmm. So based on what I'm seeing, this is a hypothetical. I don't see anything about it. Let's check the news. No.
Okay.
Okay, so
It's just a hypothetical.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So let's frame it like I think you need to. 100 grand a year. Okay. And however long this voyage takes, what are you staying on Mars?
I don't think you're coming back.
You don't think you're coming back, so you're getting 100 grand for the rest of your life.
Just purely based on what I know from space travel, I don't think you're going to come back in your lifetime. I think there's a good chance you're going to die.
Yeah.
My condition is Elon Musk has to be on the trip with me.
Oh yeah, if he's on the trip, you know you're
with his
it.
flamethrowers in case we run into any aliens.
Yeah.
Um,
with you having a flamethrower too.
Yeah,
right?
of course. I have to have one. We cross streams and such.
Yeah.
But I'm. Let's look up how long it takes to get to Mars. How long does it take to get to Mars? It's only 300 days.
So a little under a year. It's not
At its closest point.
Yeah. And 2 years. Every 2 years is that its closest point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go to space.com.
Seems legit.
Seems reputable. At space.com. You're losing my business shortly.
I'll be honest with you. How else do you think they're gonna get some revenue? Their space.com.
Yeah. 33.9 million.
I feel like you can come back. Like what? 5 years? A year travel there, a year travel back, and 3 years to chill and hang out on Mars.
Yeah, but it's still, I think you're gonna die.
Okay.
You're gonna die when you get there. So
you're gonna die when
you're gonna die when you get there. You're not coming back. Because the reason for that is, how the fuck are you gonna launch back into space? And this is gonna get a whole debate of whether or not we landed on the moon. I think we did, but
of course we did.
Do you think that same technology is gonna work to get off of Mars?
Yeah, it's better. It's like 80 years later, right?
I know, but there's no atmosphere on Mars.
Yeah.
I mean, on the moon, there's an atmosphere on Mars.
It's very weak though. So like. People far smarter than us.
Matt Damon barely got out of there, man.
Matt Damon got out of there by himself, though.
No,
living on potatoes.
Living on potatoes.
He was a space pirate, man.
Having Michael Pena come back for him.
Yeah.
And then bullshitting his way through an Iron Man scene.
You know, actually, the whole thing, the only thing that they said was unrealistic about that movie was the storm in the beginning.
Really?
Yeah. So that storm can't happen on Mars. Like, it just can't happen. And someone called out I believe the writer on it, and the writer goes, "Yeah, but if that storm didn't happen, I wouldn't have a story to write." So the storm happened, okay?
just happened, man.
But yeah, okay. So I would have to preface this with I enjoy my life right now. Family's here. I have good friends that I hang out with all the time. I get to do cool things like this podcast. I enjoy my life.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy my job, and I enjoy everything that I have going on.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be hard for me to uproot my life and just go, "Hey, I'm going to disappear."
So
it was even harder. Like there was a point where I was considering moving to another state. That was very I was excruciatingly in pain thinking about leaving all my family and friends. Like that was such a big deal to me. So I would have a hard time taking it. If I didn't have all of that,
you would go
100%.
So I've always said, and I don't know if I've mentioned this to you before, if I ever, it's a joke, but it would work. If I ever get a terminal illness, I'm going to the Bermuda Triangle to see what the fuck is up.
Oh, I'm down.
So
we can just go now if you want.
No, because I have the whole life thing. But if I ever get terminally ill, but I'm able to live on for 2 years or something, but 2 years
you're gonna die.
I would go. I would go on the trip at that point because, one, get in the history books.
Yeah.
If you make it. 2, you don't have to worry about coming back.
Right.
And 3, they're already gonna. It's gonna make the loss of your death.
Yeah.
Because of the terminal illness lessened because you're up on the.
I have to add a 4, man. Have to add a 4.
Okay.
If they have that moment where you need to do something that's going to cost you your life but save everybody else's, boom, they know they got you.
Is it still sacrifice play if you're already going to die?
Yes. In Japan, after that nuclear meltdown issue that happened,
the one with because of the tsunami a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
The old people, all the seniors there, volunteered to go into it to deal with the radiation stuff.
That's pretty cool.
They're gonna die still, right? So they're gonna die reasonably within 10 to 20 years because of the age.
Yeah.
And they would either be dealing with that radiation issue at a very late stage in their lives where they would have died anyway, but they're still making that sacrifice because there's a very good chance that it's going to shorten up your lifespan. I think you're still making that sacrifice no matter what. Even if you are going to die, you're definitely still making that sacrifice because you could choose not to do it.
True. It's very true. So we both go. Given the right circumstances.
The right circumstances, I would go. As it stands right now, I wouldn't.
And Nelson has to go too.
Yeah,
he's not getting paid.
Here's the other factor. If all my friends are going, there's a good chance I'll go.
Yeah,
if we can just pack up and just roll some dice and play some cards and play some games while we travel,
drink some Moscow mules and play some Secret Hitler in space.
Right? Let's
space
go on a space adventure. 5 of us go. We all make $500,000 a year. Right? We get to Mars. Money's worthless, right? So,
so we just hold on to it.
So your money's just gonna your money's just going to go to your family.
Yeah.
Right?
Unless you come back.
Yeah, what? You put it in a trust fund where it gains, and put it with some good financial planners. They work to gain good value over the time you're gone. And then if for any reason you ever die, it just goes immediately to your family.
Yeah. I'd do it.
It'd be dope.
Yeah. Oh, and one other topic we can kind of go into. So.
Oh, real quick.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that? It's a TV show, I think it was, an anime. Born on Mars, you'd be weaker than the humans.
Really?
Yeah. Think about this. Gravity is working on us all the time, right? So we have a stronger gravitational force on Earth than we do on Mars. So if you're born on Mars, you're going to be weaker because you're used to that environment. So then if you get to Earth, where a stronger gravitational pull is working on you, you're not going to be able to do as much. Okay? So that's one factor. 2, you'll shrink because your spine will then shrink down.
Yeah.
Right? And then if your muscles as a whole will be weaker. You lift weights on Mars. Guess what? You can pump no issue 300 pounds, 400 pounds, right? Because of the lower gravitational pull.
Yeah.
So you would have to go so much further to get even to a reasonable weight. So you'll just naturally be weaker.
Unless you're in a biodome where they have simulated gravity.
I feel like they'll just let that go.
I don't think they will.
Why?
Not the first year.
Not the first people, but after that.
Yeah, maybe.
You go outside, you'll yeah, that's what we do.
Get to be a Martian.
Yeah. All right. So go back to you.
Oh no. So just one topic we can go into. So I don't know if you ever So Disney has released a trailer for a series that I used to read
Okay.
back in the day called Artemis Fowl,
Okay.
and I'm happy and pissed off at the same time.
Why is that?
So
I'll go into
go for it.
everyone.
Yeah, the trailer looks so much made for kids, and it bums me out so fucking much.
Is it a kids?
I don't think it was a kids book. Like maybe it was.
Was it like a young adult book?
Not a YA, for
Yeah.
example, but I mean, there's like adolescence, I guess would be more of a term that I would go for,
Okay.
like preteen to teen, somewhere in there.
Like, book 3 and up for Harry Potter.
Yeah, from
Okay.
there, yeah. But it's just like, I watched the trailer, I was like, this is just fucking for kids. I wish they would have made this 10 years ago. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I guess more than 10 years ago because I forget how old I am.
Yeah.
But like, as a kid, so what series that you would be mad that they would come out with that they haven't yet, that you'd rather see as a child?
So it gets remade all the time, and because it's multiple storylines. But I grew up on the Chinese story of Journey to the West, right? And it got dubbed into Vietnamese, and then I watched it when I was a kid, and that's like that played a big role in like my enjoyment of like mysticism, fantasy world, anything like along those lines. That really came from Journey to the West. It's a story that's really old, but whenever they do a remake now, and they put a heavy emphasis on like the kids because they do come out with this from time to time, it's pretty bad in my opinion because there's like a lot that goes on in the story that they miss out on. So like that is a big thing. There was also this chain of books I read, like the Merlin series. Like they come out with Merlin shows. Like there was one on like NBC.
Yeah, I remember that.
Wasn't great.
No.
And that would be one like if they actually went for like the books, and if they were to do it and not go after that young adult style that I think that it was intended for and went for the kids, like what you're dealing with, I would be super disappointed.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much, like you lose so much of the story when you add this like buffer between the actual content. So
yeah, I just thought of that at the end. But we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping things up here. First off, shout out to Nick, our boy Nick, for giving us that $5, keeping the train a moving, as we call it.
He's really grown up. He's married, got himself a kid.
He's got a whole family now.
He's a dad.
He's the first one with a whole family.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a little bit more content rolling out. Both me and Nelson are starting to edit videos quicker to an extent.
Nice.
We're getting more content out. Like for example, this week there was a Rocket League video that went up. There's also the Skill Monkey Showcase, which was just a bunch of random clips merged together.
Okay.
So there should be more going on the YouTube. If you want, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Skill Monkeys. Twitch at Skill Monkeys. Also, I need to get it set up for my stream to be able to pull there, so it's going to be Beardo92.
Okay.
1992. And then you're kind of starting your own thing.
Yeah, I finally got all the parts, and I have the case coming in today. I got a friend coming over next week to help me put everything together and get it set up. And then I should be able to do some testing soon with some of the Magic stuff that I'm going to start streaming. I'll be streaming both MTGO and Arena. I'm pretty excited for it. If for some reason I do really well, I'm actually going to a tournament this week for SCG Invitational in Roanoke. And if I do awesome there, I'll just use that as a springboard for my own platform. And I'll definitely push my
I'm the
content
best,
onto this.
so check me out here.
Check me out here. It doesn't exist yet, but it will.
Yeah. But yeah, everybody have a good time.
Always.
It's been Skill Monkeys.